Let's take a trip to probably the most haunted museum in the world, not because of some ghost walking around or some tragic event, but because it contains some of the world's most haunted and cursed objects. This museum is known as the Warren Occult Museum, and if you've seen movies like Annabelle or The Conjuring, you should know about the world's most famous paranormal investigators, Ed and Lorraine Warren. So instead of physically going there, I'll just be telling you guys about the top 10 most haunted items in the Warren Occult Museum. I'm your host Andrew, and let's get right into it. At a number 10 spot, we have the samurai outfit. If you watch the film Annabelle Comes Home, which came out in 2019, you can see some of the various items inside of the Warren Occult Museum, one of them being the samurai armor. The story behind the suit of armor is pretty tragic, but also a reminder why it's here in the first place. The armor dates back to a time period in Japan known as feudal Japan, which lasted from 1185 to 1603 AD. This was a time when the age of the warrior was coming, and the samurai held great honor among those in the society. They were in fact so loyal that any defeat or anything that brought shame to their name could be considered a reasonable offense against which one should take their own life from. However, one samurai didn't play by these rules and instead wanted to seek out his anger instead. It is believed that he was possessed by an evil entity, but not much else is known or documented about this. The samurai then proceeded to go to the nearby town, and with his katana, he then murdered all the women and children that he came across. Unfortunately, it is unknown whether he took his life after or was defeated by other samurais, but it is believed that the spirits of the innocent he butchered had latched onto the armor, and now the armor holds the same evil energy that had once controlled the former samurai. The director of the movies, James Wan, also mentioned he had ideas for a movie about this, which would be pretty interesting, but I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. But at least it is in this museum, safe from anyone to wear ever again. Number 9, the organ. One of the most intriguing items in the Warren Museum is the Grand Organ, which was recovered from a haunted house in Connecticut. The authorities asked if there was anything the Warrens would like to retrieve from the site, and Ed, with his love for all things haunted and a good bargain, took the organ home. However, it soon became apparent that this instrument was in fact cursed, as Ed would hear discordant music being played from it even when no one was around. Every time he tried to investigate, the music would just stop as soon as he opened the door. Despite the constant disturbances, Ed didn't want to let go of this eerie relic. He feared that if it was destroyed or damaged, it could release the spirits back into the world, causing more mayhem. So he decided to keep it under his supervision and called in for a friend of the clergy to bless it every 2 weeks, along with every item in the museum to keep the spirits docile. The Warrens believed that by keeping these cursed objects under their watch, they were keeping them safe from outside interference, and no one else would be put at risk. Number 8, the Perron family music box. Fun fact, the director James Wan wanted to use the real music box in the first film, but for obvious reasons they left it out. But regardless, this music box is real and stored inside of the museum. This box caused a lot of issues for the Perron family during their initial hauntings, more so for the daughters, and specifically April, who is the youngest one in the family. It's said that she found this antique item when they first moved in, and she quickly found that it's used to communicate with supposed spirits and otherworldly phenomena. In the movie, it had to be one of the scariest scenes. When you see Lorraine using it when suddenly a young boy is seen in the mirror's reflection, terrifying stuff. The real story of the box varies, but most tell a story of a young pianist named Nicole who was struggling with the loss of her child. As a result, she decided to constantly play the music box that once helped her child go to sleep. This eventually became an obsession, and she would play with the box for hours on end, almost to the point where the noise was hypnotizing her and giving her bad thoughts, including the idea that her husband murdered their child. Then one day, the husband came home arguing about the box, with Nicole lashing back, accusing him of murdering their baby. As she played with the toy once again, she saw the reflection of the young boy in the mirror, which then tells her to murder her husband. She then grabs a knife and proceeds to stab her husband until he is not breathing. It's never confirmed if the baby died of natural causes, but the boy could have been tempted by the woman to murder her baby herself. When they had it in their possession, Ed Lorraine immediately knew it had a dark, enormous power inside, which is why he kept it in his storage room with his other macabre trinkets. Number 7, the brick from Borley Rectory. Another item that the Warrens have at the museum is a brick, but not just your ordinary brick. A brick from the Borley Rectory. The Borley Rectory was a house in England that was widely known as the most haunted house in England. Built in 1862 and located in the village of Borley, the house had a long history of paranormal activity and was the subject of intense interest from paranormal researchers. The house was the scene of numerous reported paranormal events throughout history, with the first reports dating back to 1863. Residents of the house reported seeing a ghostly nun and experiencing strange and inexplicable events, including sounds of servant bells ringing despite being disconnected, lights appearing in in the windows, and unexplained footsteps. The rector of the house in the 1920s, the Reverend Guy Eric Smith, and his wife also reported a variety of strange experiences, including the discovery of a skull in the cupboard. This event was responsible for bringing the house to the attention of the media and other paranormal researchers. Then in 1929, after a visit from Harry Price, a well-known psychic researcher, the house received widespread attention, with Price publishing 2 books on his findings and paranormal experiences there, which ultimately garnered the attention of the Warrens. Then in 1944, the house was torn down, and a brick of the most haunted home in England ended up in the Warrens Occult Museum. Number 6, a satanic idol and skull. The satanic idol and human skull are 2 of the most intriguing items in the museum. The odd thing is that the human skull was reportedly gifted to Ed and Lorraine Warren. However, the satanic idol holds a much more mysterious story. It was found in the woods nearby the Warren estate by a local hunter who claimed to have been approached by a mysterious figure in black robes. Upon bringing the idol to the Warrens, Lorraine suddenly fell ill, leading Ed to believe their family was being targeted. Despite this, Lorraine eventually recovered and the idol was cleansed and blessed, allowing it to take its place among the other haunted relics in the museum. However, the satanic idol's eerie appearance and dark backstory still gives visitors chills to this day. Its tall and slender form, combined with its unsettling appearance, makes it one of the most striking pieces in the museum. In the hump of our list, we have the Annabelle Doll. The Annabelle Doll is a true gem in the Warrens Museum collection, but her story is far from a bedtime fairy tale. Acquired by a woman for her daughter in 1970, the doll appeared to be just a regular rag doll at first, but it wasn't long before strange events started to unfold. Donna, the daughter, and her roommate Angie noticed that the doll would move on its own and appear in different rooms without any sort of explanation. They even found pieces of paper with childish writing that read phrases like "help us" and "help Lou." It was then that they reached out to a medium who informed them that the doll was possessed by the spirit of a young girl named Annabelle, who had died in their apartment building. Although the medium revealed that Annabelle liked Donna and Angie and wanted to stay with them, this decision proved to be a mistake. Soon after, their male friend was physically attacked by the doll, leaving burn marks and caused him to bleed. It was then that the Warrens were contacted to investigate the situation, and what they found was far from a friendly spirit. The doll was being manipulated by a demon who was using it to get closer to Donna and Angie with the intention of possessing one of them. The Warrens intervened, and after discovering the true nature of the doll's possession, they gave it to their museum for safekeeping. Now the Annabelle doll resides inside a glass case at the Warrens Museum, guarded by a warning sign that reads, quote, "Positively do not touch." Despite its innocent appearance, the story behind it is enough to give anyone goosebumps. Number 4, the Pearls of Death. The Pearls of Death, a seemingly innocent string of pearls, has a reputation of being dangerously powerful. At first glance, they appear to be a luxurious accessory fit for royalty, but the truth is far from it. The Pearls of Death are known to have a deadly curse, and those who dare to wear them face dire consequences. According to legend, the first woman who wore the pearls reported feeling a sudden constriction around her neck, almost as if she was being strangled. Despite her desperate attempts to remove the necklace, it took multiple people to finally set her free from its grasp. This incident has led to widespread fear and caution when it comes to wearing the Pearls of Death. Some believe that the necklace was cursed by a Satanist or black magic worshipper before it was given to the unfortunate woman. And others claim that the pearls just have a mind of their own. People have been wary of wearing the Pearls of Death, and the rumors of its strangling powers have only fueled the fear and fascination surrounding the artifact. While there is no scientific evidence to support these claims, the Pearls of Death continue to intrigue many who visited the Occult Museum. Some might say that the only way to break the curse is to perform a blessing by a holy person, but there are very few brave enough to test the validity of this theory. The glamour and beauty of the pearls may be tempting, but the price of wearing them is probably not worth the risk, so best believe just to see them in a photo at the museum. Number 3, the Ouija board. The history of the Ouija board dates back to the late 19th century and has been surrounded by a shroud of mystery and fear ever since. According to some, the Ouija board works by tapping into the subconscious mind of the users, allowing them to spell out the answers they may not have otherwise known the answer to. Others believe that the board actually allows spirits to communicate with the living. Regardless of how it works, the idea of being able to contact the dead through a board game has captivated people for generations. The fear surrounding the Ouija board has not only been exacerbated by popular culture, with movies and TV shows depicting violent and malevolent spirits using the board to terrorize the living, and of course the Warrens have their own Ouija board in the Occult Museum, but the history and origin of the board are not really known, but best believe it comes from a very dark, sinister place. So if you're brave enough to test your luck with the Ouija board, just remember to be careful what you ask for. You never know what your answer might be. Number 2, the toy monkey. What makes old school toys so creepy? It seems that at some point in history, toy makers decided to abandon their frightening designs in favor of cuter, cuddlier, and less creepy creations. Maybe it's because tastes changed, or maybe it's because people realized they're letting their kids play with nightmares. Regardless of the reason, I'm glad these creepy designs are a thing of the past. However, it's always fun to revisit these frightening figures for some spooky times. Take for example, the toy monkey at the Warren Museum. The monkey is not only selling to those who look at it, but is also said to carry a terrible curse, having been featured in movies like Annabelle Comes Home. This monkey is known for stalking, tormenting, and killing people. It's said that the monkey might suddenly appear in your life, pop up in unexpected places, and cause chaos with its crashing and shuffling sounds. It's spooky, but it's still a toy, right? Regardless, after some time after Ed and Lorraine founded the New England Society for Psychic Research in 1952, they somehow came into possession of this toy, and after discovering its evil potential, they decided to bless it and seal it deep in the Occult Museum. Number 1, the Shadow Doll. The Shadow Doll is a frightening item in the Warren Occult Museum. Unlike other dolls that look innocent and cute, the Shadow Doll is dark and sinister, created during a ritual with evil intentions. Made of human bones, animal teeth, and nails, the Shadow Doll spread its curse through photographs. Those who received a picture of the doll would experience terrifying nightmares, with the doll appearing in their dreams, often leading to the person's heart stopping. The couple who originally acquired the Shadow Doll had no idea of its powers and were immediately plagued by its nightmares and scratches after bringing it into their home. Frightened by their experience, they decided to call on the Warrens to take over the doll. It's believed that destroying the Shadow Doll would just release the spirits summoned during its creation, leading to more misfortune and fear for those who did so. So best be glad it's hidden deep inside of this museum. Well, these are the top 10 haunted items in the Warren Occult Museum. What do you guys think about this list? Leave a comment down below with your thoughts, but don't forget to like and subscribe to this video for some more scary content. I'm your host Andrew, and I hope you guys have a scary day.